Hey everyone, this is Jordan from Sleeklens.com. In this video, I'm going to show you a different technique for editing your images. Typically when you have an image open like this, you start with editing the photo in the basic panel, because that's the basic adjustments that you would do. You take down the highlights maybe a little bit, raise up the shadows a little bit, change the white balance, and just do your normal editing. But I'm going to go ahead and reset this, and I'm going to edit this photo only using an adjustment brush. I'm not going to use any of the adjustments down here, so basically I can keep this panel closed and I won't touch it, but I will use the adjustment brush over here. And the reason I want to do this is so I can show you that there are many different techniques for editing your photo. You don't have to stick to the basics and going in the normal direction that you normally go when you're editing your photos. You can actually edit an image entirely with just a brush. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now. So I'm going to click on my adjustment brush, and what I'm going to do first, I'm going to go ahead and reset this here. What I'm going to do first is take away a tiny bit of the blue haze that's back here. And just before we start, this is a JPEG. This is not a raw image, so some of the adjustments I won't be able to go as far as some of the adjustments as I would like to. But this will again give you a better idea of what you can do with just the brush. So I'm going to get my adjustment brush here. I'm going to take my temperature, let's go to 20 here, and I'm just going to paint across right here, and I'm going to quickly get rid of that blue haze. You might like it. Again, this is all all preference of how you typically edit your photos. So again, I just got rid of that blue haze there. You can see we can toggle that off, toggle it back on. We have a nice warmth going on back there. And now I'm going to get a new brush. So I'm going to click new here. And the next thing I'm going to do is take care of the sky. I'm going to darken it just a tad and then add a little bit of blue to it. So I'm going to take my temperature, take my exposure down, and I'm going to drag across here. Now there is some kind of noise going on here, again, because this is a JPEG. So I'm going to take this down, maybe take the temperature up just right there. And there we go. So that takes care of that. And now what I want to do is concentrate on the saturation of the colors, especially in this foreground area right here. So again, I need to get a new brush, click right here, and take my exposure and my temperature back up to where it was. And I'll just try kind of take my saturation up a little bit. And then I'm just going to start painting. It might be a little harsh in some places, but I can always adjust. There we go. So it is a little bit too much. So I'm going to drag it down a little bit, and then actually I'm going to warm this up as well. Right there. There we go. Again, these are minimal changes for this photo especially. This is already a fantastic photo, so there's not a whole lot that needs to be done to it, but I'm just kind of highlighting the areas that I want to change. So next I'm going to get new here, and I'm going to take my saturation back down, and I'm going to take the dehaze. I want to dehaze a little bit of these distant clouds, so I'm going to drag that up a little bit, and I'm going to drag another line back here. This is going to add a little bit of clarity or sharpness in those mountains back there. Now when you can see what I did, that it added a little bit of green back here, and it kind of looks like a nasty green. So I'm going to take my tint, I'm going to take my magenta up a little bit and just cancel that out. So there we go. And then the next thing we're going to do is probably highlight this river here. That sounds like a good little plan to make that stand out a little bit more. I'm going to get new here, take my dehaze back, take my exposure up just a little bit, and my highlights just a little bit. And I'm going to shrink my brush down, and I'm just going to highlight this river, kind of go along with it. Right there. All right. Maybe jack up the large brush there and just kind of tap around and paint. There we go. And I'm going to warm that up as well. Typically with these aerial shots you get a lot of blue, so I kind of want to add a little bit of warmth there. It is a little bit too harsh down here, so I'm going to get my minus brush here and just tap a couple times down here. There we go. And now what we want to do is kind of add a little vignette. So for this, if this was a photo that I was trying to edit majority in using the adjustment brush, I probably would do the vignette slider, but I told you I was going to edit this entirely with a adjustment brush. So I'm going to click new here. I'm going to do a manual vignette. So I'm going to take my exposure down, And I'm actually going to go down here to my brush settings. I'm going to take my flow. I'm going to take my flow down to around 20. So there we go. And I'm going to paint this way. Just keep painting. There we go. And then we'll take it down a little bit more. I did my flow because I don't want it to be such a harsh change. I'll go down here and go down here. There we go. And what I might do also is add a little bit of decreased clarity as well. And there we go. So that is our pretty much final photo. Now if I wanted to have a little bit of fun with it, I would have done most of those adjustments with the brush, and then I can go into like calibration and have a little fun with the colors. Maybe get a little bit more yellow pop, a little bit more green pop, add a little bit more red to the mountains. That would have been kind of fun. But I told you I was going to do this all entirely with a brush. So this is the before and after. It's not a huge difference, but you can actually get great photos with just an adjustment brush. There are some cases where obviously you need sliders, but for the most part, if you want to take the time and just get in there and change it up a little bit in certain spots, you don't really need all the sliders. You can just do the adjustment brush. So thank you guys for joining me in this quick little video. Hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for more Sleeklens tutorials on YouTube. This has been Jordan from Sleeklens, and I'll see you in the next video.